Have you ever wondered why a figure so often associated with darkness is also known as the light bearer? This seeming contradiction is at the very heart of a forbidden doctrine, one that has been purposely shrouded in fear and misunderstanding for centuries. Luciferianism, contrary to popular belief, is not about worshipping some shadowy figure of evil, but rather a deeply personal path of self-empowerment, intellectual freedom, and spiritual enlightenment. It is a journey of challenging the imposed chains of ignorance and finally understanding the true nature of your own potential. Throughout history, this path has been deliberately misrepresented, twisted by religious dogma and historical biases, all working to prevent you from discovering a profound truth about your own power. This deliberate deception has created a vast chasm between the common perception of Luciferianism and its true core essence. This profound misrepresentation is not just an academic curiosity. It is a significant barrier to personal and spiritual growth for anyone seeking true freedom. The widespread misunderstanding has infiltrated every corner of our culture, from the media we consume to the mainstream religious views that dominate our society. These misconceptions limit our understanding of what true rebellion really is, affecting our collective perception of self-determination, intellectual freedom, and the journey to enlightenment. By failing to see Luciferianism for what it truly is, we miss out on a crucial understanding of esoteric philosophy and practical methods for personal empowerment that are built on an understanding of your inherent potential. The core themes of self-knowledge, questioning authority, and the relentless pursuit of personal freedom, which are at the very heart of Luciferianism, are then lost, hidden by generations of purposeful manipulation. This means that a deep understanding of your own personal power and the ability to shape your own destiny remains locked away, buried under layers of fear and dogma. To begin to truly understand this path, we must first dismantle the layers of misinformation that have been deliberately constructed around it. The mainstream religious perspective portrays Lucifer as a fallen angel, a being of pure evil, eternally banished from grace. But this is a carefully constructed narrative, one designed to promote obedience and dependence. In contrast, Luciferianism regards Lucifer as a potent symbol, not a literal devil, and certainly not an entity to be worshipped. Instead, Lucifer represents the unquenchable thirst for knowledge, the relentless pursuit of spiritual awakening, and the courage to challenge the imposed doctrines of the masses. This symbolic understanding is absolutely critical, and the idea of Lucifer as an archetype, representing the inner spark of rebellion and the drive for self-mastery, must be clearly established from the start. The core principles of self-deification, personal responsibility, and the unwavering desire for truth form the bedrock of this often misunderstood philosophy, setting the stage for a deeper exploration of its more nuanced and powerful aspects. We must see that the true essence of Luciferianism is often the exact opposite of what is commonly believed. For example, that personal power is not dangerous, but necessary, that self-reliance is not selfish, but the truest form of freedom, and that questioning everything is not chaotic, but the pathway to wisdom. Where did these misconceptions originate? Why have they persisted for so long? What happens when we challenge these long-held beliefs and finally take back control of our own minds? Who benefits from this intentional distortion of a system of thought that has been used for centuries as a tool for personal liberation? Are you ready to see how this pattern of lies has controlled you and to finally break free from the chains of manipulated ignorance? The true nature of Luciferianism is far more complex than the simple dogmas of mainstream religion would have you believe, and it is intimately connected to ancient mysteries, hidden traditions, and a lineage of esoteric knowledge that has the power to completely transform your understanding of yourself and the world around you. The narrative of Lucifer as the fallen angel is deeply ingrained in Western culture, a story most of us have heard since childhood, but have you ever really examined the source? Let's go to the root. Christian theology paints Lucifer as an unfavored angel, a being of immense beauty and power, who dared to rebel against God's divine authority. Specific biblical verses, such as Isaiah 14:12-15 and Ezekiel 28:12-19, are often cited as evidence of this celestial rebellion, describing a fall from grace precipitated by pride and the desire to usurp God's position. In these passages, Lucifer is depicted as a symbol of arrogance, his ambition leading to his expulsion from heaven, becoming the embodiment of evil, the devil himself. These specific passages, when analyzed through a different lens, reveal more about the fear-based control used by the church than any true story of evil. These texts, often presented as irrefutable evidence, become tools for manipulating the masses, instilling a fear of questioning authority and a need for submission to a divine power as defined by the church itself. The implications of this single theological interpretation have had far-reaching consequences, shaping the minds of generations and limiting personal agency through fear-based control. This is the foundation of the problem. The church created and uses this, Lucifer, as evil story for the purposes of control. This traditional interpretation of Lucifer, however, was not created in a vacuum. It was carefully cultivated and refined over centuries, becoming an instrument of control that was used to consolidate power, enforce religious dogma, and silence dissent. The early Christian church, seeking to establish its dominance, used this narrative to demonize anyone who dared to challenge its authority, portraying alternative belief systems as heretical and evil. Any form of intellectual curiosity or spiritual independence was actively suppressed, and any pursuit of self-empowerment was cast as a rebellion against God himself, an act of Luciferian defiance. Historical examples of this manipulation are legion, from the persecution of the Gnostics, whose philosophy offered a different view of both God and the material world, to the demonization of pagan traditions and any form of esoteric knowledge. The fallen angel narrative became a powerful tool for maintaining social and religious control, ensuring that people remained docile, obedient, and unquestioning. When seen through this lens, the story of Lucifer as evil isn't the tale of some powerful fallen entity. It is the story of humans using fear to control other humans, and that means that the power to break the chains lies within us, in our ability to see it. The question then becomes, who benefits from this version of reality? The consequences of accepting this fear-based paradigm are profound, hindering individual growth, limiting self-expression, and stifling the development of personal power, all under the guise of religious piety. By accepting the idea that Lucifer is evil, we are also accepting the idea that questioning authority is wrong, that seeking knowledge is dangerous, and that self-mastery is an act of defiance against a higher power. The resulting system of guilt and sin leaves people feeling powerless, dependent on external sources for salvation, instead of realizing the power that resides within. This creates a self-perpetuating cycle of subservience, where people are conditioned to believe they are inherently flawed and incapable of achieving spiritual fulfillment without the intervention of a divine intermediary. This is the key. If you believe that you are inherently bad, that you are flawed, and that the pursuit of personal power is evil, then the true power that lies within you remains dormant. You become a slave to this imposed structure. It is not only a form of control, but a prison of the mind, where people are taught to limit their own potential and to fear the very aspects of themselves that have the ability to free them. This version of Lucifer becomes the ultimate tool of self-sabotage. But what if the story of Lucifer wasn't what we were told? What if this entire narrative was a deliberate misrepresentation, a carefully constructed falsehood designed to keep us from our true potential? What if the concept of a fallen angel was simply a symbolic story used to obscure a far deeper truth? What if, instead of being a figure of evil, Lucifer represented the very spark of enlightenment, the courage to defy imposed dogma, and the desire to understand the true nature of existence? What if Lucifer was never truly fallen, but rather descended willingly to bring the light of knowledge to humanity, empowering individuals to take control of their spiritual journey and to take back their true power? There are cracks in the narrative if you look for them, and by questioning the traditional perspective, we can begin to explore a new understanding of Lucifer and the path he represents. We have been told what to believe for centuries, but now we must ask, what else have they been hiding? Shifting away from the fear-based narrative, Luciferianism embraces Lucifer as a potent symbol of enlightenment, not a literal entity to be worshipped, and certainly not the embodiment of evil. The very name, Lucifer, means light-bringer, a clear indication of his symbolic role in illuminating the darkness of ignorance and dogma. Within this view, Lucifer's descent is not seen as a fall from grace, but a voluntary act of rebellion against a tyrannical power, a conscious choice to empower humanity with knowledge and to challenge the imposed limits of the created world. This shift in perspective completely inverts the traditional Christian narrative, revealing Lucifer as a liberator who offers not destruction, but the path to self-discovery. This is about taking responsibility for yourself and your own spiritual development. Lucifer is not there to be worshipped, but to serve as an example, an archetype of the individual who dares to challenge the status quo, who is unafraid to seek truth, and who is willing to embark on the path of self-mastery. The very idea of an angel, a being of pure light, who is also labeled evil, should be enough to spark curiosity if one is thinking critically. This is the beginning of breaking the chains of dogma and embracing the possibility of personal divinity. The Luciferian perspective also emphasizes the critical importance of the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, seeing these as fundamental keys to personal growth and spiritual evolution. It is not enough to simply accept what you are told. We must actively seek to understand the world around us, to question every assumption, and to relentlessly pursue truth in whatever form it may take. This pursuit of knowledge is directly connected to the light that Lucifer brings, a light that illuminates the path to self-mastery and unveils the hidden potential that lies within each individual. This is not some abstract or esoteric idea. This is the core philosophy that has driven scientific and philosophical progress for centuries and is the driving force behind all true human advancement. What has always been deemed evil by the religious structures is the same thing that has always elevated humans as a species, the drive to understand the world. The Luciferian path encourages people to think for themselves, to develop critical reasoning skills, and to challenge the limitations imposed by dogma and tradition. This means using the gifts of reason, logic, and insight to break down the barriers to understanding and to illuminate the shadows of ignorance. The core message is clear. Knowledge is not to be feared, but to be embraced, as it is the key to unlocking your true potential. The symbols associated with Lucifer also take on a completely different meaning within the Luciferian framework. The torch, often depicted in Luciferian iconography, represents the light of knowledge and the illumination of truth that dispels ignorance. The pentagram, commonly associated with evil within mainstream religion, is seen as a symbol of the 5 elements, representing the mastery of the material world through the application of wisdom and individual will. The morning star, another symbol of Lucifer, signifies the dawn of enlightenment and the emergence of a new consciousness and the potential that exists within the individual. These symbols, when understood in their true context, are not representations of evil or darkness, but rather powerful tools for self-discovery and spiritual transformation. They are visual aids that remind us of the importance of self-determination and the relentless pursuit of enlightenment. These symbols are not about fear, but about the power that resides within each of us. What has been called evil by the churches is seen as essential for personal growth in the Luciferian framework. This path culminates in the concept of self-deification, the idea that each individual has the potential to achieve their own form of godhood through the diligent pursuit of self-mastery and spiritual evolution. This is not to say that we are all destined to become deities in the literal sense, but rather that we have the potential to embody the highest qualities of enlightenment and to realize our own unique potential. This idea is not new, but appears across many different esoteric systems of thought and is especially prevalent in Hermetic teachings. This concept of self-deification at its heart means that you are not a flawed, limited being, but a powerful, capable, and divine individual who has the ability to shape your own destiny and to master the circumstances of your life. This is the core message of Luciferianism and the first step in reclaiming your true power. Are you starting to see how far from evil this really is? This quest for self-mastery and the pursuit of individual potential is also a core element of Gnostic thought, a tradition that provides a vital esoteric context for the Luciferian perspective. Gnosticism, an ancient mystical tradition that existed alongside early Christianity, viewed the material world as being controlled by a false god, known as the Demiurge. Unlike the all-loving God of mainstream Christianity, the Demiurge is seen as a flawed and jealous creator who keeps humanity trapped in ignorance and suffering by way of deception and control. In Gnostic cosmology, the true God is a transcendent being of pure light, beyond the grasp of the Demiurge, and it is this true God that Lucifer is connected to. This creates an important shift. The God of the Old Testament is not the true God, and is in fact an entity that keeps humanity in ignorance. This concept is radically different from mainstream thought. The Gnostics viewed the Old Testament God as a flawed and jealous creator, a demiurge, who was responsible for the creation of the material world, which they viewed as a realm of illusion, suffering, and ignorance. Specific texts from the Nag Hammadi Library, a collection of ancient Gnostic writings, detail the demiurge's desire to keep humanity in a state of spiritual amnesia, preventing them from recognizing their true, divine nature. This false god is seen as an impostor who manipulates the world for his own selfish purposes and who attempts to keep humanity subservient through fear, guilt, and false promises of salvation. This concept radically inverts the commonly accepted view of God as an all-loving and benevolent creator. It presents a radically different understanding of the origins of evil, revealing a manipulative force that keeps humanity trapped and prevents them from seeing the truth. Are you ready to see this completely different version of reality? Within the Gnostic narrative, Lucifer is not a fallen angel, but rather a divine emissary, a force of light who challenges the demiurge's authority and seeks to liberate humanity from this false reality. Lucifer is the serpent in the Garden of Eden, who offers knowledge of good and evil, the fruit from the tree of knowledge, which leads to the awakening of consciousness and the recognition of the demiurge's deception. This means the story of sinning by eating the apple is actually a symbolic tale of waking up from the lies of the demiurge. This act of defiance, which is portrayed as the original sin in Christian theology, is seen by the Gnostics as an act of liberation, a crucial step in humanity's spiritual evolution. Lucifer, as the bringer of this knowledge, becomes a symbol of hope and a guide for those seeking to break free from the demiurge's control and to reclaim their inherent divinity. This is the radical shift in understanding Lucifer as liberator, not as a force of evil. This Gnostic perspective provides a crucial link to the Luciferian path, highlighting how the pursuit of knowledge, self-mastery, and rebellion against imposed dogma are all essential steps on the journey to spiritual liberation. It reveals that what has been seen as evil may in fact be the very force that can free us from ignorance and oppression. These ancient texts, once marginalized and suppressed, now offer us a new perspective on the nature of reality and the true meaning of spiritual awakening. The pattern is clear. The evil that we are taught to fear is the very thing that we need to embrace if we wish to become free. This reinterpretation of the Lucifer myth challenges the very foundations of traditional religious views, exposing the limitations of dogma and revealing a hidden truth about the nature of our existence and our own power. But this is just one piece of the puzzle. What other hidden teachings are there that will illuminate this path? The Hermetic tradition, with its emphasis on universal principles and the interconnectedness of all things, also provides a crucial framework for understanding the Luciferian path. Key concepts from the Corpus Hermeticum and the Kybalion, such as the principle of as above, so below, demonstrate the intrinsic relationship between the macrocosm of the universe and the microcosm of the individual. What does this mean? It means that the patterns and laws that govern the cosmos also operate within each of us, and by understanding these laws, we can gain mastery over ourselves and our reality. This principle is not just a metaphysical concept, it is a practical tool for self-transformation, a means of aligning ourselves with the natural order of the universe, allowing us to consciously participate in our own evolution and the evolution of the world around us. The understanding of these laws and how they operate on multiple levels is a crucial step on the Luciferian path. The 7 Hermetic principles, detailed in the Kybalion, provide a practical guide for understanding the nature of reality and our place within it. These principles, which include mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender, describe the fundamental laws that govern all existence. The principle of mentalism teaches that all is mind, and that reality is fundamentally mental in nature, meaning that our thoughts, beliefs, and intentions directly shape our experience of the world. The principle of correspondence, as we've discussed, emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things, stating that what is reflected above is also reflected below, and vice versa. The principle of vibration highlights the fact that everything is in constant motion, constantly vibrating, and that different vibrations manifest as different forms of energy and matter. These principles, when understood, can be powerful tools for self-mastery, helping us to understand the dynamics of reality and to work with them consciously. How can these ideas, in practical terms, change how we interact with the world? This focus on the pursuit of knowledge, as embodied in the Luciferian path, is also a central tenet of Hermetic philosophy, which seeks to unravel the hidden workings of nature and the universe. Hermeticism encourages the exploration of both inner and outer worlds, emphasizing the importance of understanding the laws of nature and the spiritual principles that govern all existence. Specific practices such as alchemy, astrology, and ritual magic are not just esoteric practices, they are tools for understanding the underlying forces that shape reality and for consciously influencing those forces in order to create positive change. The pursuit of knowledge, in this context, is not just an intellectual exercise, but a transformative process designed to awaken our true potential and to unlock the mysteries of our own consciousness. As you can see, this is not a path of evil, but one of radical self-discovery. This path asks you to take a look at the hidden mechanisms of the world and take back the power that you've given away unknowingly. The fusion of Hermetic and Luciferian ideals emphasizes the individual's inherent power to shape their own destiny by understanding the laws that govern reality. The concept is simple. We are not simply passive victims of circumstance, but active participants in the creation of our own experience. By embracing the principles of self-mastery, actively seeking knowledge, and consciously aligning ourselves with the universal laws, we can transform our lives, our communities, and our world. This message of personal empowerment is at the heart of both traditions, offering a pathway to self-realization and the ability to claim our full potential. This synthesis creates a powerful framework for understanding the Luciferian path, a path of empowerment, self-reliance, and the courage to defy all that limits our growth. These are ancient teachings, not some new, dangerous philosophy. Are you beginning to see the connections across these esoteric teachings? The Kabbalistic tree of life, with its intricate web of symbols and interconnected pathways, offers another layer of understanding to the Luciferian path. This ancient mystical diagram is not merely an esoteric symbol, but a detailed map of consciousness, a framework for understanding the journey of self-discovery and spiritual ascension. The 10 Sephirot, or emanations of divine energy, represent different aspects of the human psyche and the various stages of spiritual development, from the most material to the most divine. These pathways that connect the Sephirot provide a guide for navigating the complexities of our inner world and the steps that are required to achieve enlightenment. The Tree of Life, in essence, is the map of your own personal journey to become your true self and a guide for how to get there. The deeper you understand it, the more power you have over your own growth. Within the Kabbalistic framework, each Sephira represents a specific quality or state of consciousness, corresponding to different aspects of the human psyche and the spiritual journey. For example, Malkuth, the lowest Sephira, represents the material world, our physical body, and our everyday existence. Kether, the highest Sephira, represents the crown, the ultimate source of divine energy, and the goal of spiritual enlightenment. By understanding the qualities of each Sephira and how they relate to one another, we can begin to chart our own personal path and to identify the specific challenges and opportunities that we may encounter along the way. The paths that connect these Sephirot are as important as the Sephirot themselves, showing how we move from one stage of development to the next. The Tree of Life is not just an image on paper, but a guide for the evolution of consciousness. It's an inner roadmap for your own potential. The process of ascending the Tree of Life is not a linear one, but a spiral, where we are constantly returning to the same themes, but at ever higher levels of understanding and awareness. This journey is aligned perfectly with the Luciferian path of self-discovery, which encourages individuals to challenge limitations, to embrace knowledge, and to strive for ever higher levels of consciousness. The Kabbalistic system reveals how each step on this journey is not only a personal transformation, but a step towards union with the divine source. This journey is also a process of integrating all the disparate aspects of ourselves to transcend the perceived limitations of the ego and to fully embody our true divine nature. The Luciferian path, at its core, is a journey of integrating light and darkness, not denying either one. The Tree of Life acts as a symbolic visual guide for how this integration is achieved. The Serpent of Wisdom, as seen in both Gnostic and Kabbalistic teachings, is a direct link to Lucifer and the pursuit of Gnosis. This serpent who tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden represents the spark of divine knowledge and the courage to challenge the established order. This idea, seen through the lens of Kabbalah, is a symbol of the Kundalini energy that lies dormant at the base of the spine and is awakened through spiritual practice, leading to enlightenment. Lucifer and the serpent, therefore, are not symbols of evil, but catalysts for transformation, representing the power of knowledge and the potential for self-mastery. The serpent is the key to unlocking the secrets of our own consciousness and of reclaiming our divine inheritance, and is also a visual reminder of the inner power that we all possess, waiting to be awakened. The thread is becoming clearer. The symbols that the world has deemed evil are actually symbols of freedom. This layered understanding of Luciferianism, built on Gnostic, Hermetic, and Kabbalistic principles, reveals a path that is far more nuanced and profound than the fear-based narrative of mainstream religion would have us believe. The true message of Luciferianism is not one of evil, destruction, or chaos, but of empowerment, self-mastery, and the relentless pursuit of truth. But how do we take all of this theory and apply it to our daily lives? How can we use these ideas to break free from our limitations and to begin living as the powerful and divine beings that we truly are? The time for theory is over. We must now look at concrete methods for personal transformation. The practical application of Luciferian principles begins with self-reflection, an honest exploration of our inner landscape to understand our own truths and to identify the self-imposed limits that are holding us back. Specific techniques like journaling, meditation, and contemplation provide us with invaluable tools for uncovering our deepest desires and our most insidious fears. We must ask ourselves, what do we truly believe? What patterns of behavior are we repeating? What is holding us back from achieving our full potential? These questions, when asked with sincerity and a desire for truth, will reveal the path forward, illuminating the shadows of our subconscious mind and making clear the next steps on our personal journey. This process is not easy. It requires courage and a willingness to confront the aspects of ourselves that we may be trying to avoid, but the rewards are immeasurable and will provide a clear understanding of your current situation and your current limitations and the steps needed to remove them. This is the first step in taking responsibility for your own life. One of the most vital practices is questioning all forms of imposed dogma, the unchallenged assumptions that limit our potential. This means analyzing the societal norms, religious beliefs, and personal assumptions that have shaped our understanding of reality. Where did these beliefs come from? What is the evidence that supports them? Who benefits from us believing them? By asking these questions, we can break free from the mental chains of limitation and create space for new possibilities. This process is not about rejecting everything we have been taught, but about consciously choosing what to accept and what to discard based on our own understanding and experience. This means we must use the gifts of reason and logic and not simply believe what we are told because it is comfortable or accepted by others. The core element of the Luciferian philosophy demands that you use your mind to uncover the truth and to challenge any belief, no matter how sacred it may seem. This is true liberation. To promote self-mastery and personal power, we must engage in consistent practices that help us to understand and transform our inner world. These practices can include visualization exercises, energy work, symbolic rituals, or anything that helps us to connect with our inner source of power. The core element of all these practices is the development of conscious awareness, the recognition that our thoughts, feelings, and actions have a direct impact on our reality. By actively participating in these practices, we begin to understand the subtle workings of our own minds and emotions and learn to direct them with intention and purpose. The path to personal mastery is not a passive one, but an active journey of transformation, one where we must work diligently to awaken our true potential. These practices must become a part of your daily life, and you must take responsibility for your growth. The path is there, and the responsibility is yours. However, it is absolutely crucial to address the ethical concerns that often arise when discussing Luciferianism, and to make it absolutely clear that this path is not a justification for chaos, destruction, or harm. True Luciferianism is based on self-awareness, growth, and progress, and it demands that we take full responsibility for our own actions and choices. The freedom that this path offers comes with a corresponding responsibility, an understanding that we cannot impose our will on others or act in ways that cause suffering. We must consciously strive for self-mastery, always balancing personal ambition with ethical integrity and with an understanding that our actions have consequences. True empowerment cannot be achieved by harming others or by ignoring our ethical obligations. Instead, it is created through mutual understanding. What are the ethical guidelines? The Luciferian path emphasizes the importance of empathy and compassion, the ability to see the world through the eyes of another, and to recognize that we are all interconnected parts of the same whole. While Luciferianism emphasizes individual autonomy, it does not advocate for selfishness or disregard for the well-being of others. It is important to move beyond the focus on me and into the consciousness of we, and to embrace our roles as responsible members of the human community. True progress and true growth can only be achieved when we move past our individual egoic desires and begin working for the betterment of all. This doesn't mean we sacrifice our individuality, but that our goals are aligned with the greater good. The understanding that all actions create ripples in the universe must inform our behavior, and we must see that our true purpose is not to create destruction, but to create and cultivate harmony. This is the responsibility that comes with true knowledge. True individual sovereignty can only be achieved through ethical behavior and personal responsibility. This is a key idea, often overlooked in discussions about Luciferianism and often confused with the more superficial ideas of doing what you want. The Luciferian path is not about disregarding the well-being of others. It is about taking responsibility for your choices and consciously choosing to act in ways that promote positive change. We must always consider the consequences of our actions and strive to live in a way that reflects our understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. This message of ethical responsibility is central to the Luciferian path, offering not a license to do harm, but a roadmap for creating a better world through the cultivation of wisdom, empathy, and self-mastery. This is the very opposite of chaos and destruction. We must be clear. The responsible and powerful action is the most ethical, and when one's goals are not ethical, it is because of ignorance, not true power. This is the path, and your responsibility has been made clear. It is now time to make the choice. Will you continue to live in ignorance, accepting the lies that have been fed to you for generations, or will you embrace the Luciferian path and step into your true power? It's time to move beyond the surface and to discover the deeper truths that have been hidden from you for so long. The journey we've undertaken has revealed a truth that has been deliberately obscured for centuries. Luciferianism is not a path of darkness, but a journey of self-illumination, not a doctrine of evil, but a philosophy of empowerment. We began by examining the deeply ingrained misconception of Lucifer as the fallen angel, the embodiment of all that is wicked, a creature of chaos and destruction. We have now seen that this is a carefully constructed lie, a tool used to control the masses through fear, guilt, and the suppression of knowledge. But now, with the light of understanding, we can see the truth. Lucifer is not an evil entity, but a symbolic representation of the individual's courageous pursuit of knowledge, freedom, and self-mastery. This understanding is not merely an intellectual exercise, it is a key that unlocks your personal power. The core principle of self-deification, once labeled as blasphemy, becomes the very definition of human potential, your right to reach the full expression of your divine spark. This new understanding transforms our entire view of spirituality and power, forcing us to confront the limitations of traditional religious dogma. The idea that we are inherently flawed, sinful beings in need of external salvation crumbles under the weight of this new perspective. The Luciferian path reveals that true power resides within each of us, waiting to be awakened through our own actions, our own will, and our own pursuit of knowledge. This is a radical departure from the passive acceptance of dogma. It is a bold assertion of personal responsibility and an embrace of the divine potential that has been dormant for too long. The very act of challenging this accepted dogma is the most empowering first step on the path of self-mastery. This transformation in perception has the power to not only change your belief system, but to change your life. When we place the Luciferian doctrine in the larger context of humanity's ongoing pursuit of freedom and knowledge, we can begin to see it as a part of a timeless struggle, a universal yearning for truth, and a rejection of imposed control. Throughout history, individuals have risen to challenge the status quo, risking persecution and death in the name of intellectual curiosity and spiritual independence. Figures like Giordano Bruno, who dared to challenge the geocentric model of the universe, and Socrates, who questioned the accepted norms of Athenian society, are examples of this ongoing battle against imposed limitations and the inherent human desire for freedom. The misunderstanding of Luciferianism is not an isolated incident. It is part of a larger pattern of manipulation, where those in power deliberately distort and hide profound truths to maintain their dominance and keep the masses subservient to the established order. This is not ancient history, it is a constant and ever-present battle. Recognizing this pattern is absolutely vital because it empowers us to break free from societal and religious dogma and to reclaim our personal sovereignty. The true significance of the Luciferian path lies in its ability to inspire us to take responsibility for our own spiritual journey and to no longer rely on external authorities or outdated beliefs. The power to change our reality does not come from some divine intervention or from the benevolence of some external entity. It comes from within, from the recognition of our own inherent potential, and from the courage to act on that knowledge. This is not simply an esoteric idea. It is a blueprint for living a life that is both meaningful and empowered, a life that is no longer bound by the limits of imposed control. You are not powerless, you are an architect of your destiny. The Gnostic, Hermetic, and Kabbalistic teachings we've explored work together to form a holistic framework for understanding the Luciferian path, demonstrating the underlying unity across these esoteric traditions. The Gnostic perspective reveals the demiurge, the false god of the material world, who keeps humanity in a state of ignorance and suffering, thus framing Lucifer as the liberator, challenging this false authority and bringing the light of knowledge. Hermeticism provides us with the universal principles and laws that govern both the cosmos and the individual, offering a practical guide for self-mastery and an understanding of our interconnected nature. And finally, the Kabbalistic tree of life gives us a map of consciousness, a step-by-step guide for the journey of spiritual ascension, leading us to our own self-deification. These teachings, when viewed together, create a powerful and comprehensive understanding of the Luciferian path, a path that empowers self-mastery and true enlightenment. The key to understanding is the integration of all three. Each section of this video has guided you closer to a deeper understanding of Luciferianism, moving you from the initial misconceptions to a new, comprehensive view that integrates multiple perspectives. We began with the commonly held view of Lucifer as an evil entity, then explored his symbolic role as the bringer of light, a liberator from ignorance. We examined the Gnostic concept of the demiurge and his role in controlling the material world, revealing Lucifer as a challenger of false authority. We saw the Hermetic principles of self-mastery and their vital importance in understanding the nature of reality and our place within it. And lastly, the Kabbalistic tree of life as a map of consciousness and a guide for spiritual ascension. This journey has been carefully structured to move you from the darkness of misunderstanding to the light of clarity. The path, once obscured, is now visible. The questions we posed at the beginning have been answered. The misconceptions surrounding Luciferianism originated from the intentional misinterpretations of religious dogma and were propagated through fear-based control. The power structures that benefit from this misunderstanding are those that seek to maintain control over the masses by limiting their knowledge, suppressing their individuality, and fostering dependence on external authority. The way to reclaim your freedom is to challenge these imposed beliefs, to take responsibility for your own spiritual journey, and to embrace the power that resides within you. This means moving past a passive acceptance of dogma and actively embracing the responsibility that comes with true individual sovereignty. The power is not out there, it is within you. The central tension that was built throughout the video now dissolves, as you now understand that the power to change your reality lies within you and you alone. No external force, no divine savior, will deliver you from the confines of your own self-imposed limitations. It is your will, your consciousness, and your actions that shape the world around you. This is a challenging idea, but also the most empowering. You are not a victim, you are a creator, and you have the power to transform your life and to become the full expression of your own divine potential. Now is the time to act on what you have learned. The journey has only just begun. Now that we have illuminated the true nature of Luciferianism, it is time to ask: how can we continue this journey? What other forms of hidden knowledge await us? What new ways of being can we create? These are not simply academic questions, but practical challenges that you can explore in your daily life. The path of self-discovery is never-ending, but it is one that is full of wonder and endless opportunities for growth and expansion. The Luciferian path is an invitation to explore the vastness of your own potential, to push the boundaries of your own understanding, and to always strive for more. This journey is one of continuous growth and evolution. Living by Luciferian principles can lead to radical shifts in your personal, ethical, and societal interactions. By embracing critical thinking, challenging imposed dogma, and taking responsibility for your choices, you can begin to create a world that reflects your highest aspirations and your deepest truths. This means living a life of authenticity, guided by your own internal compass and not by the dictates of others. This also means building a community of like-minded individuals who are dedicated to supporting each other on their journeys. This is a path of conscious creation. It is now time to take this knowledge and make it a living part of your life. I encourage you to share your insights, experiences, and questions in the comments section below, so that we may continue this conversation and build a community of like-minded individuals who are committed to the path of self-mastery. The journey of enlightenment is a communal one, where we can learn and grow from each other. Let's help each other to unlock our true potential. And to further assist you on this path, I recommend the following texts and figures for continued exploration: the Nag Hammadi Library, the Corpus Hermeticum, the Kybalion, the Zohar, and the works of Giordano Bruno and Aleister Crowley. These resources will provide you with a wealth of knowledge and a deeper understanding of the esoteric principles we have discussed today. The exploration never ends. There is always more to learn and more potential to realize. This is the path, and the choice is now yours.